Hi, I am trying to cut out the images from the Zoe Workshop on the Go scrapbooking guide out of the Artistry Cricut Cartridge from Close to My Heart. And the more I looked at it, the more detailed it got. So let me show you what I've learned on this. You'll want to pull out your book, even if you're using a Cricut Explorer and the Cricut Design Studio, because in your directions it tells you exactly what colors you're cutting out with the cardstock that you've gotten, and then it's going to tell you what shape, and it's actually going to tell you what page that shape is. So all of the images that we're cutting out of this cartridge is on page 1 of the booklet. So secondly, when you're searching in Design Studio, it's really hard to figure out, okay, what image am I looking for? Because even though I've searched the Close to My Heart Artistry Cartridge, I'm scrolling through and I have, let me get out of this. Okay, so I'm scrolling through the Close to My Heart Artistry Cartridge, and I have no idea which speech bubble it is, which one I need. So I even clicked up here and I searched speech bubble, and all of these showed up. Okay, something I noticed in the booklet, the colors correspond. So this first one is actually going to be icon 1. So that's important. So we click on that, we know we're going to want that one. And down here I actually made a cheat sheet. So it says icon 1. We're going to want that one in white because it tells us that it's the speech bubble icon 1 on page 1, and we need that in the white daisy, and we're going to cut it at 1.5 inches. Secondly, we're going to need the green one, which is the icon 2. That's going to be in the sorbet color, and we're going to cut it at 1 3/4 inches. So let's find the green one, and we click right there to get the green one. And then our last speech bubble is going to be in the glacier, because I started looking at these speech bubbles and they looked slightly different, and they are 3 different speech bubbles. So now I'm looking for the purple one, and that's going to be the one that I need there, which is the shift, and then the shift of the shape, and icon 2. So that's what I need right there. And that one we're going to cut at 1 1/4 inches. So yes, this is great using the cartridge, but you got to really pay attention to details to try to find that. And then you'll just click insert, and those will go into your layout. So next I need to get them the right sizes, and then I want to change them all to the colors of the cardstock I'm using. So then they're going to cut out on the right mat. So the first one we're going to look at is this wine color one, which is going to end up being white. So let's click on this, and I need it 1.5 inches. So I'm going to click edit, and I'm going to click 1.5 inches, and that should be good. And then because I want it white, I'm going to go ahead and go to sync. And I've already created this color that I want to be white, so I'm going to look for this one, and all you do is hold on to it and you drag it up to the color you want it. So now it's going to cut on the white mat. Okay, so unclick the sync. Now let's go to the green one. The green one is going to be in our sorbet color. So let's click, let's edit the size. And we need it 1 3/4. So on here, decimals would be 1.75. And then we click off of that. Now I need to change it to my sorbet color, so I'm going to click sync. Now I'm looking for my lime green. Now I'm going to slide it down to, okay, I already erased what I had as the sorbet color before. So I'm going to go in here and show you how to change the colors. Now you're going to click on layers. Now we're going to find the sorbet layer. Okay, it's the top one. Now if I click over on this arrow, I can change the color. I can find kind of like an orangish, and that's what I'm going to use. So then click off on the layers. Now I have that one, and It's pretty much the size I want and the color I want, so I know it's going to be on that mat. Now let's do the lighter purple one. We need it is going to be, I believe, in our Glacier. Yeah, that's going to be our Glacier color, and we need it 1 1/4 inches. So we're going to click on this and go 1.25 for the size. Now I also want to change the color, so I'm going to go to Sync, and that was the light purple. So I'm going to move it up to my Glacier looking color. Okay, so let's get out of here and see what we have. I have all of my different ones. This is going to be my white cardstock, my slate, my sorbet, and my Glacier. So these should be all exactly how we need. Also note that the layers of the hexagons are different. So like in the white, we have 1 3/4, and then we have 2 inches. And it's just so that you can layer all of your different images. Another way you can try to figure this out is by looking at the scrapbook pages that you're going to create and see, okay, let's see how they layer. Let's see, okay, is the stamped image that I want to stamp out, is it going to fit on that image? One thing I did with the hexagon, I wasn't sure, okay, is that the height or the width size? Well, if you actually measure the shape, it's 2 inches tall by 1 1/2 inches wide. So then I know, okay, that's the size that I need it. So when I click on my image, even though it's saying the width is 2 inches and the height is 1.5, that's the size shape I need to be able to stamp that on. So keep that in mind when you're doing that. I hope these tips really help you. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send to my mat. I'm going to replace the previous project I did. I'm going to find Glacier because I already have it up. Okay. And then I am going to make sure I'm on cardstock to cut. And we'll load our mat and go ahead and start cutting. Actually, I see that my fingernail polish has gotten all over this, so I'm going to flip it over. So we'll cut this out and see how it goes. I need to click go. Make sure my Bluetooth is on. I love being able to create with my mobile devices with the Wi-Fi. Okay, so now I click go, and it needs to find the Wi-Fi. There we go. Click on it, and now it will start cutting. Okay, so it's blinking. I'm going to click my little C for it to go ahead and go. So then we unload our mat, and you can see all of our little cuts that we created. I'm actually wondering if this little speech bubble is not large enough. I might have to go back and look at that. But I hope these tips have helped you out in trying to figure out what sizes to cut everything out. Yeah, I think our speech bubble isn't big enough, so I'm going to go back and look at the size on that. It might be, but that's how it's going to look, and then this will actually be a layer somewhere. Oh, underneath here on the fun. So then you would take this stamp, ink it up, put it on your block, and stamp it down on that, and then you're going to stamp fun on top of that. So these Workshop on the Go kits are great. You can get some really detailed scrapbooking pages, but it's a lot of fun, and you can alter it to make it what you want it to be. But I like being able to have instructions and know exactly how to put it together. So use the picture, use the words, use these layouts. It'll show you what you should be putting where. They label everything with alphabetical letters, and I just put my directions on my mat. But use the resources they've given you and to put it together. There are also a couple other alternative scrapbook layouts that you can make. This is the one you're making, and this is another one that you can create using the supplies they give you. So again, the Zoe Workshop on the Go scrapbooking kit from Close to My Heart. Check it out, check out my links, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on anything. And happy crafting. We'll see you back soon.